Good stuff. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat, along with IrishBreakdown.com. I'm Vince D'Addario. That guy over there is Jesse Stiers and Jim Irizarry at the controls, helping us out, making sure we sound good, which is yeoman's work. But anyway, thanks, everybody, for joining us. It is 6 o'clock, which is an hour past when we normally come on. But I'll take the blame for this one. My day job got a little exciting at the end of the day, right around the final bell of the day, and there were some wannabe Rocky Balboas trying to do their thing. So had to stay a little later at work, and wasn't going to make it home in time, and actually got in the door not that long ago. So here I am, here we are, and we are going to take you all the way to about 6:40, because then we're going to throw it to Sean Stiers at 6:45 for a little Notre Dame women's basketball pregame. I believe it is Syracuse tonight. Does that sound right, Jesse?
Yes, Syracuse and senior night.
Okay, that's right. It's the last home game of the year. So, yeah, senior night tonight. So, if you've got tickets, you're headed to the ball game, keep us on, AM 960. We would really appreciate that as well. We'll take you all the way up to the pregame show, and then Sean will take over. But we're going to have what we're going to do. We were actually planning on doing, a whole show. We had everything planned, mostly by Jesse and Sean. So I big one up to
Don't even say Sean. That was me.
Okay, my bad. I'm trying to give a little nod to the boss.
No,
Jesse pretty much
right now
wrote the show, which I personally appreciate. It was a long day for me. So thank you, sir, for putting in the effort. And we're going to come back to a lot of those topics. Did you want to touch on the combine, or do you want to hit a little bit of that tomorrow?
I think we should save that one because, okay. I mean, Notre Dame, the combine, they actually started the on-field stuff today, but it's defensive linemen.
Okay.
I don't think it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think Notre Dame really has anyone invited amongst their defensive line group. So,
right.
Nothing too crazy to talk about. But Vince, I have a mini story I wanted to share myself before we get going.
Let's go. Story time. I can only tell so much of my story because of privacy laws. So
I almost had my own crisis today, Vince.
Yes. Okay. What do you got?
So wife is going to Virginia for a engagement party for one of her cousins, now one of my cousins. And
okay.
She avoided driving down with the family. She's like, you know what? I don't need to be in the car with my family for that long. So she went to the airport this morning. I dropped her off. She flew. She's in Richmond, Virginia this weekend. I couldn't miss because it's picture day for the basketball team. And I was like, that's like it. It sounds like a not important day, but it is. It's like when you coach for free, picture day means something because it's you want that memory of, I have a stack of pictures for all these teams I've coached.
Love it.
And I like to come back to them. It's kind of like your memento for the season. So I was like, I can't miss picture day and I can't miss a game as well. So she went. Anyways, long story short, she texted me when she got off the airplane today and she couldn't find one of her wedding bands.
Oh, no.
And so she's got like the typical, you've got band, main wedding ring, and then you got a band on top of that. So there's 3 rings.
Wow.
The middle one is like the one with the big, or not big. I'm not going to act like I'm some millionaire here. It's the nicest one. The middle one is the nice one.
The one with the rock. It's got a rock.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And so she texted me at work. She's freaking out. She can't find it. She's literally losing her mind. And so I was like, all right, well, just let me get home and just see if you forgot it. But the dilemma I was at, I was like, I kind of wanted her to lose it so I could have a leg up on her.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Score? You're already keeping score?
Not keep score, but just kind of have it in my back pocket because the entire time she was like, you're going to lose your wedding ring. You're going to da-da-da-da-da. And so I found it. It was in the house, but.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, good. But a teeny tiny part of me.
You didn't have to tell her right away.
This wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if, I got this little leg up on you. But no, it was, in all seriousness, I'm glad we found it. I would have been mad. I paid for all 3 of them, and they weren't cheap. I'll tell you that.
Yep.
And so,
can we? I mean,
I can't believe we already had this crisis like 6 months in, and it wasn't
true.
me. I thought I would be the one. I guess.
You take yours off a lot?
No, because of this reason.
I never take mine off ever.
I sleep with mine.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. The only time I take it off is to work out.
Okay.
And the gym I go to has a little locker, so I just put my phone in, I take my rings off, and right when I'm done, I put them right back because I don't want to scratch my ring on the barbell. I'm not a very, especially when I'm working out, I'm not.
I got you.
I'm kind of a freaking bull in a china shop as is, and then when I'm working out, it's like I don't want to scratch this nice ring. So
I got you.
and in the shower, I take them off when I get in the shower as well because of I don't know what that nasty water is going to do to it. So.
The only other time I ever took it off is when I was catching pitchers when I was coaching, because my finger would swell a little bit, so that was never good. So I would take it off for that. Other than that, never comes off. Ken wants to know which kid won. Well, unfortunately, I can't give that kind of information out. There's privacy laws and all that kind of fun stuff. But well, I'm gonna leave the relationship stuff to the side. If we had a 2-hour show, I would continue to.
We got to get into this rapid fire, man.
We do. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about here, and it would be super beneficial on my part if I had it up. And
I got it up.
Oh, here we go. I got it now. You just got to go to the recent docs. Okay. You ready for this? You ready for a little rapid fire to get us to 6:41? I've been told we're going to 6:41. You ready for this?
It is a rapid fire.
It is. We got a lot to talk about, actually, believe it or not. So, kicking it off, a little bit of Notre Dame talk and a little bit of combine talk, whether you wanted to or not. So, Matt Miller from ESPN was asked who he thinks is the best player in the 2026 NFL Draft while he was on the Dan Patrick Show today. His response was, quote, Jeremiyah Love, and I don't think it's particularly close. He went on to say that Love is right there with Bijan Robinson and Saquon Barkley as the best running back prospects in the last 10 years, adding that he's better than Genty because he catches the ball better. So a lot of praise for Jeremiyah Love, which I'm hearing a lot from other people besides Matt Miller as well. But is this fair or foul coming from Matt Miller, who has spent the last 2 days at the Combine in Indianapolis?
Yeah, I think this is completely fair, Vince. And I think that a lot of times when it comes to the NFL Draft, when it comes to the Heisman race, we get so caught up in the quarterback. Who's the top quarterback? Who's going to be the number 1 pick? And I think this season we're really overthinking it because Jeremiyah Love to me, he's the only guy in the draft where if you give him the ball, he can take over a game and completely score on any given play. He has that explosive ability. So I think the part that kind of took this to the next level is the comparison of Bijan Robinson, Ashton Genty, Saquon Barkley, guys that we know who have been, tremendous players in the NFL. Outside of Genty, I think Genty will ultimately get there, but he's on a bad team and a bad franchise, and there's things he needs more help around him.
Is Mendoza the help that he needs, or I think it's probably bigger than that? But
it's bigger than that.
Okay.
It's definitely. I think I read last year he had there's that stat that tells you how quickly guys are getting touched in the backfield. I think he was at the top, for running backs. His line sucked. He couldn't get anywhere. And so I think, again, the surprising part is making the claim that he's better than Genty, but I think that's true as well. I think the only thing that Genty might be better at than Jeremiyah Love is his pass blocking. And I think Jeremiyah Love has gotten substantially better at that. But the thing is Jeremiyah Love just needs to go, as a fan and someone who wants Jeremiyah Love to do well, he needs to land on a team that's just not a complete crap hole, And so I'm rooting for him to land on the Chiefs because
really
he can get in that offense.
You want them to get better?
Yeah, but think about he's a Missouri kid. He's a Missouri kid. He'd be playing for the Chiefs. You got Patrick Mahomes. You got Andy Reid. I don't want him to go to the Saints. Like the Saints are about to be a dumpster fire. We don't need Jeremiyah Love to go to a dumpster fire. It would just be really cool if he ended up with either the Kansas City Chiefs or my Dallas Cowboys.
The Cowboys are too far down, and they're going to have to trade up. Like I
don't think he falls out of the top 10.
No. And in that interview, because I listened to it, in that interview, he said basically Jeremiyah Love is fair game from 3 to 9, essentially. Like he could go anywhere from 3 to 9. And I believe 3 is Arizona. And I think 4, I want to say, was Nashville, I want to say.
Tennessee.
Yeah. And so, obviously with various needs and things like that from different teams, but he said basically Jeremiyah Love is in play 3 to 9. So it's going to be an interesting, if you're a Notre Dame fan, it's going to be an interesting draft night, in the first round, which, hasn't necessarily always been the case. And so we'll at least be waiting to hear Jeremiyah Love's name. Maybe others. We'll see what happens. But I think you're not going to get to the top. You're not going to get out of the top 10 before you hear Jeremiyah Love's name. And I also think, would you trade up? And I think I've asked you this. Would you trade up for Jeremiyah Love?
If I'm Dallas?
Yeah.
Or just in general? No, Dallas needs a lot of needs. And so if they traded up offensive to get an offensive guy with all their holes on their defensive side, like the fan in me wants to say yes, but for a team that could win the division next year, I don't think so.
And so do you think a team could trade up to get him? Do you think he's that special?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know who it would be though.
That's fair. No, that's fair. I mean, the thing is about this draft, and this is a very interesting draft, but the thing about this draft is look, Mendoza won the Heisman Trophy. He won the national championship. He's going to go number 1 overall to the Raiders. That's all well and good. But then Ty Simpson is your number 2 quarterback. I mean,
he might not even go in the first round.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not banging down the door to get Ty Simpson. So there's not a lot of quarterback. Like a lot of times you see it's a quarterback sweepstakes. And you see just all these quarterbacks coming off the board. Like, I think a lot of teams are going to be looking at next year for quarterbacks. So what else are you looking for? Like where is the movement going to be? Because a lot of times the movement is to get a quarterback. There just isn't that kind of inventory this year. Oh, let's see. Nolan wants to know, he says, sorry, gents, just got out of work. Hope you're having a great day. Where do we think Price lands on draft night?
Yeah, this is actually something I've thought about a lot, Vince. And I think that there's really a perfect situation for him just laying at the end of the first round. I would not be surprised if the Houston Texans take Jadarian Price. Last season, Joe Mixon was out. There's still a lot of uncertainty around his toe/ankle injury. There's questions whether or not he'll ever play in the NFL again. They had Nick Chubb at some point, obviously a guy who had a good career with the Browns before his knee was ripped in half. He's older, banged up knee. I can't remember who they ended up going with. It might have been Woody Marks, I think, is their running back right now. But with the NFL, it's become a 2-back system, and Houston doesn't even really have a number 1 back. And I do see a lot of Jadarian Price in kind of Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, guys that they have shown interest in, or guys that have been on the roster recently at the running back position. So I'm going to call my shot and say Houston takes Jadarian Price with pick number 8.
Wow.
Or 28, sorry.
I was going to say 8. I don't think they're the number 8. Okay. You called yourself on it before I could call you on it, which is good. I think that's fair. I think there are some spots in there in the late 20s to the end of the first round. I think it would solidify the 1-2 punch that Notre Dame had last year if they both go in the first round. I mean, running backs,
wouldn't that be amazing?
The value of running backs is going up. Like for a while there, it was definitely going down. I was like, anybody can do it. But I think people are starting to see, or teams are starting to see the value of a running back, especially a good young running back, and one that has a lot of tread left on the tires. He was never the number one back at Notre Dame. He was never the number one back. You know, he was on pace to be the number one back before he got hurt. So there's a lot of, and I'm talking about back at his true freshman season, there's a lot of tread left on Jadarian Price's tires. You know what I mean? And so I think whoever gets him, especially at the end of the first round, is going to be a steal. And if he falls into the second round, that's a massive steal. It just worries me that he's going to fall to the top of the second round and go to a crappy team. Like, I don't want to see that happen. So
that's what I mean. I always root for the Notre Dame guys, especially, to go to the not crappy teams, right? Like, you don't want to see Jeremiyah Love go somewhere and just be buried on a bad team. And to me, it always begs the question, Vince, like, I wouldn't even care if I was the number one pick. Like, I don't want to be the number one pick because I don't want to go to the worst team in the league.
Well, and if you're willing to bet on yourself, it's all about that second contract. Like, that's the one that make or breaks you, is that second contract. Now, don't get me wrong. You go number one in the draft, you're going to be set for life. That's generational wealth, all of the things, right? But you're also about to get your butt handed to you as well, physically. And Fernando Mendoza, a year ago, nobody's thinking Fernando Mendoza's going number one in the draft, right? So, I mean, hats off to him for the season he put together and being able to be the number one draft pick.
Are you sold on him?
No, I'm not sold on him. He's got 1 year. Either. He's got 1 year. That's not enough for me to leverage my franchise on. I'm sorry. It's just not. But who are you taking? Like, who else is there? Who else? That's my thing. It's like, who else is there? I don't know. So, the Raiders are going to take him. Okay. But if I knew Fernando, if I was like an advisor or whatever, and we were in just a room by ourselves and we're just having a conversation, I guarantee you he's like, oh man, I'm about to go to the Raiders.
The thing is the Raiders are going to take Mendoza, and it's not even going to fix their biggest issue, and that's their offensive line.
Not even close.
If Genty can't produce anything, what makes you think Mendoza is going to have time to sit back there?
But I mean, they don't have a quarterback either. You know what I mean? Like, the list is long.
Yeah, but this quarterback class sucks. If I'm the Raiders, I trade back at number one. I pick up 2 offensive linemen in the first round.
And you wait for next year.
I wait for next year. Or maybe I pick another quarterback later in the draft. But the Raiders aren't going to fix all their issues this year, and they're definitely not, whether they draft Mendoza or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day,
I do.
Why not trade that pick back in a class that's not overly exciting? Get 2 offensive linemen, let Genty develop this season, and then take a crack at it when there's a better quarterback pool.
Well, here's the other piece of this, and we're kind of going deep here into the draft talk, but another piece of this is I wonder if there's a whole lot of suitors for the number one pick.
Yeah, because like we just talked about, if there's nothing really ultimately exciting up there, like what are you going to do with the number one pick?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
It's either Mendoza or not, because it's not like there's another quarterback kind of nipping at his heels this season. So to me, it might turn into, does someone trade up and take Jeremiyah Love number one? How awesome would that be?
Right. That would be fantastic. But, not going to happen, obviously. But, hey, maybe Dallas will sell the farm for the number one pick and take Jeremiyah Love. That'd be great. All right. Let's do another quick one before we have to take a very brief break. Let's see. Fill in the blank. It's blank that Notre Dame freshman receivers Devin Fitzgerald and Kaydon Finley, who are both sons of former NFL players, worked out in Minnesota last summer with freshman Irish quarterback Noah Grubbs, along with former NFL wide receiver coach and offensive coordinator Jerry Sullivan, running the drills.
I struggle with this one for a while because it's like there's so much in this question. It's like
so much in this question.
How do you fill in the blank on this question?
Right.
And encapsulate everything that's going on. I'm going to go with culture defining, Vince. Okay. And the reason I think it's culture defining is I think Notre Dame is starting to establish a culture of excellence again. And they're young players, they're recruits, they're noticing that, and they want to be prepared for that excellence, right? And so what are they doing in their summer, free time? They're getting together, they're working out with, NFL coaches, doing NFL drills. That's the stuff that you want as a program trying to build a powerhouse and win a national championship, And so not only are you getting elite recruits, but now these recruits want to get together and get better together. And I think that's the culture or the expectation that Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman is setting at Notre Dame.
It's definitely a culture that he is setting, and it's obviously becoming a nice soft landing spot for a bunch of former NFL players' sons to come through. I mean, that's a thing. Like every year, it seems like we've got a picture of incoming recruits and their NFL dads, that goes out over social media, and that is not ending anytime soon. You know what I mean? And so obviously these guys who have played in the NFL, who know good coaching when they see it, who know a good program when they see it, are on board with their kids coming to Notre Dame. Like, that's a thing. And the fact that they are using their name, they're using their, affluent lifestyle to take advantage of the fact that they can work out with a former NFL offensive coordinator, and they can bring everybody together and they can run drills and they can do all these different things. That's awesome. That's freaking awesome, man. And Noah Grubbs is taking advantage of it, which I think is awesome. And so they're already, getting to know each other, getting to know
establishing relationships,
all of that stuff, which is freaking great. So yeah, I mean, you're right. It's a culture building situation, and I'm here for it, man. Like, I think this is fantastic. And, with NIL and all these other things, you're going to see more and more in the offseason, these guys getting together, because cost of travel is not going to be a thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not,
especially when your dad played in the NFL.
Right. And all of these guys are making money now. As soon as they step foot on campus, they got money. Like, they're ready to go. They can afford a plane ride anywhere in the country to go work out for a little while in the off season. So
I don't know if you guys talked about this yesterday, but did you see it was kind of reported that Notre Dame was a top spender in the portal this season?
I did not see
season?
that.
Yeah.
I did not see that. That's awesome.
Yeah. But it just kind of goes back to the NIL conversation that we're having, and that Notre Dame is a player,
Right.
They're not sitting back.
Right.
They're capitalizing on this situation in the current state of their roster. And I think that you've seen that with every offseason move in terms of portal, coaching, all of it. Like, there is a serious tunnel vision going on right now. And I think they've put up the blinders. They're pissed off from last season, and it's showing.
Well, what we did talk about yesterday is how Notre Dame is not supporting the team, the basketball team, in the NIL transfer portal realm. So that was where our conversation went yesterday.
It's a hard conversation to have, but in reality, a national championship at Notre Dame in football is a lot different than a national championship in basketball.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah. Right. Yep. All right. Let's take a quick break. And we'll be back. It's like a 2-minute break. So we'll be back here very, very shortly. You are listening to Budweiser's Weekday Sportsbeat along with IrishBreakdown.com. Welcome back, everyone, to Budweiser's Weekday Sportsbeat along with IrishBreakdown.com. I'm Vince D'Addario. That is Jesse Stiers. We are without Sean because he is doing women's basketball tonight, 7 o'clock tip against the Syracuse Orange. Not the Orange men, not the Orange women, just the Orange. That's all they are these days. And again, that's a 7 o'clock tip, 6:45 pregame. So we're going to be out of here in a little bit. So we've got a little bit more ground to cover before we get there, Jesse. And we have been talking Notre Dame football. Let's talk a little professional football, but not the professional football you're thinking. Let's go to the UFL, which is going to be kicking off here in about a month, I want to say. They've got their spring season locked and loaded, ready to go. They have announced some new rules for their upcoming season. And I saw this the other day. I wanted to talk about it. We haven't had a chance yet. So here we go. They got 3 new rules, right? And this is kind of a training ground for rules for the NFL. I mean, it just is.
It's like minor league baseball.
It really is. Yeah.
Major League Baseball, I don't know if you noticed, but spring training, they've been going to the automatic balls and strikes system, and I'm all here for it. So it's nice when you have other leagues that can kind of be your test dummy.
Absolutely. And there is a relationship with the UFL and the NFL. And so here are the 3 rules, okay? No tush push. So apparently the bush push, the tush push, any pushing is out.
Of the tush.
No tush. No punting inside opponent territory. So as soon as you get into plus territory, you are not allowed to punt. I think that one's interesting. We'll talk about that. And the final one is any 60-plus yard field goal is worth 4 points. So what's your favorite? What's your least favorite? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'll definitely say that the no tush push is my least favorite of the 3.
You're not a fan, or you are a fan of the tush push?
I'm not a fan of the tush push, but I don't think it's as exciting as the other 2 on this list. My biggest problem with the tush push is it's just not officiated properly. The play itself, I have nothing wrong with. It's that it's not consistently officiated how it's supposed to be. So I put that one as my least favorite. My favorite one, and this is tough because I like both of these a lot.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with the field goals of 60-plus yards being 4 points because it is incredibly hard to make a 50-yard field goal. It's incredibly hard to probably make a 40-yard field goal. But when we're talking 60 yards, and now you can get an advantage or you get rewarded for that special skill or talent that we're seeing, NFL kicker, like NFL kickers are getting further and further back. Like it's very well known. And so I just think that the reward of that can be game changing. You know what I mean? Like that can certainly win you a very close game, but the idea of no punting inside the opponent territory is also fascinating to me because I mean, you don't have to punt. You could take the field goal. And if you got a guy who can make it from 60, like that should be no issue for you. But I love the idea of pushing the offense and either having to go for it or obviously take the field goal. And I think what a lot of people would realize out of that is going for it is statistically the better decision more often than not.
I love the 4-point 60-plus yard field goal. That is by far my favorite, and it's not even close. Like that, I think they should be rewarded for kicking a 60-plus yard field goal. It is hard to kick field goals in general.
It's not a skill that everyone has.
Kicking one 60-plus yards is a legit skill. Like it just is, right? I challenge anybody to just kick a field goal, period. Kick a 30-yard field goal and see how complicated that is, and then bump it back 30 more yards. Like, yes, I'm a big fan. I think it will change some strategy, in the game. I think it changes a lot of things for the better. I like that one a lot. The tush push, I'm like, whatever. That one doesn't bother me or make me happy or either way. The punting inside the opponent's territory, this is the one that I think changes the most strategy, to be honest with you. Because if let's say it's third down and you're on the 49-yard line, Okay, the plus 49. You're on the 49-yard line. At that point, if you don't gain any yards, that is a 66-yard field goal.
Yeah.
66. There's going to be coaches out there that know their kicker can't kick a 66-yard field goal, number one. And if they throw an incomplete pass on third down, you still have to go for it, right? You're going to see somebody at some point take a loss on third down so they can punt it.
They just run backwards and fall on the ground,
take a knee, I think that they're going to do that because that's like playing the field position game. You know what I mean? Like if your offense isn't really moving the ball very well, and you don't want to give them a short field, take a 1-yard loss and kick that sucker down to the 5-yard line.
That feels like very Bill Belichick.
Right? I mean, let's say it's crappy weather, like all of the above, and you're just like, this is not going to happen. So I want to punt, but you can't punt in plus territory. I think that's going to change some strategy. We'll see what happens, but that one is a fascinating one. Like the 4-point field goal one, it makes sense. Like I get it. Like it's a, it's like
I think that's the most realistic one,
right? That's like a 3-pointer. Like I get that. They had to think outside the box for the no punting inside the opponent's territory one.
Yeah, I'm curious what that's about. Are they just trying to push pace of play because it's the UFL? Like, are they trying to bring more entertainment, more excitement? Like, they just don't want teams punting the ball back and forth between each other. I think that's what it is. I think
they're promoting offense.
You're trying to promote offense in a league that's obviously not the NFL.
For sure. I think that would probably be the genesis of that rule. I just think it's going to provide some definitely interesting play calling. So, all right, let's see here. I got too many tabs open. All right, here we go. So speaking of 60-yard field goals, the Cowboys have offered a deal to Brandon Aubrey to make him the highest paid kicker in the league at just shy of $7 million per season. Aubrey and his team are seeking closer to $10 million per season. Is this fair or foul? And would you pay your kicker this much? I mean, he is your kicker, so.
He is. I guess I do get to claim him, as my kicker. Here's where I'm at on this one. I think Aubrey deserves that money at the end of the day, but I have a hard time seeing Dallas pay their starting kicker more than their running back one right now. Like, how can you like a guy that's on the field substantially more than the kicker? How can you justify paying the kicker more than that? You know what I like? And I get it. Like if you broke it down and it came down to total points, because the kickers add so many points between extra points and field goals. And, does that offset potentially the value that a running back could add? I don't know, but man, it's such a tough question because it's like, how do you justify that? How do you justify?
So to your argument, right? Dak Prescott is responsible for the most points, 198. Brandon Aubrey is second with 155. And then a distant third is Javonte Williams with 78.
Right. And they just re-signed Javonte Williams to I think a $4 or $5 million contract per year. It's like a 2 or 3 year deal, $4 or $5 million a year. You know what I mean? And so it makes it so it's a very nice comparison.
Right.
And it's like, what? But then you look at the total points thing and it's like, and then you think about, okay, who would win you in a crunch game when you need a field goal? Javonte Williams isn't kicking a 50-yard field goal and going to be nails, 20 out of 20 times. Like Brandon Aubrey won them some games last year because of his leg.
Right. So what's the value of that?
That's what I mean. It's so hard. You know what? I'm just going to say, screw it. I think you got to pay the guy because the NFL has never seen a leg like this before, except the guy in Jacksonville. The guy in Jacksonville, I think, actually has the record right now at 62 yards or 63 yards or something. He said it last season. Him and Aubrey are in a field of their own. And so it's like, if Aubrey gets this deal done, we're reestablishing the kicking pool, I guess you could say, right? Because it's like everyone gets mad when quarterbacks get paid, but it's like you have to pay them market value. And so Aubrey is only going to reset this market value.
Well, yeah, that's the thing right there. Yeah.
But not everyone can kick 60-yard field goals like him.
Right. 68 yards is the record by Cam Little. And Brandon is the one that I just Googled it, and then he's got it on there. And Cam Little also has the second longest field goal in NFL history at 67 yards. So I'm sure he's sitting back right now thinking, let's go, Brandon Aubrey. Sign that big deal, baby, because that's the first thing I'm going to do. As soon as I see that the ink is dry on Brandon Aubrey's contract, Cam Little better be calling the Jaguars and be like,
we're restructuring this bad boy.
Time to re-up, baby. Like, let's go. I think kickers are valuable. And if the 4-point rule ever reaches the NFL, and I don't know if it ever will, that makes them even more valuable.
Yeah, it would be even more justifiable.
Especially kickers with a big leg like that. Look, I personally would take a kicker that is accurate over a kicker that has a big leg. Brandon Aubrey's both. Right?
He doesn't miss.
Like Brandon Aubrey's both. A lot of times it's either or. You know what I mean? Either you're accurate or you got a big leg. It's
like Notre Dame. A power hitter in the MLB. You either strike out or hit a bomb.
Brandon Aubrey is all of the above. Pay the man. Like, I don't know that I would pay him 10. I think that's a little much.
I'd
pay him 8. I'd pay him 8. I'd pay him 7.
Yeah. I think double digits is where it gets a little too much.
I agree. Someday maybe, not this day. I think that's a little bit too much of a chunk of the salary cap to go to your kicker. But he's scoring points for you, man, and he's winning games for you, man. Like, ask a team who doesn't have a good kicker what they would pay for a good kicker. You know what I mean? So,
the other part of it is if you factor in Dallas's offense, like they can get you to midfield about every possession, Right. And so it's like you cross midfield, like you see the Cowboys talking on the sidelines when they do kind of like the recap videos, and they're like, we just got to get this ball past midfield, and we got the Brandon Aubrey, like no one else has that.
Absolutely. Obviously I'm a proponent of kickers. I always will be. But I'm not, I don't want to go crazy with what I'm paying my kicker. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm at. But Tommy says make field goals worth like they are in fantasy. 4 points for 40 to 49, 5 for 50 to 59, and 6.
I wouldn't go that high. I don't think you could get 6 points for a 60-yard. Like we can't have.
If you're in the NFL, you better be able to hit a 49-yard field goal. Like 40 to 49 better be in your wheelhouse.
Professional.
That's a 3. I'm sorry. That's a 3. High school, sure, you can do this. That's fine. But if you're in the NFL,
no one will ever kick a 60-yard field goal in high school.
Like we gotta up the ante a little bit when it's the pros. That's where I'm at on that one. All right, we've got a couple of minutes, and I say
Speaking that last question, I think it's the.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We got 90 seconds. All right, you want me to go to the very last? Yeah, I agree. Does the United States winning the Olympic gold in hockey make you more interested in watching the NHL?
Unfortunately, no. I wish I could say yes. We talked about it. The Olympics draws people in, I think, to a lot of sports that they wouldn't normally watch or care for because of your pride for your country. But the hockey just falls in like the worst time of the year, in my opinion. It's when the NFL is ending, NBA is starting. Now MLB is getting ready to start up. It's just in that period where like too much is going on for me. I wish I had more time to invest in the NHL, but sadly I don't. But if you put on Olympic hockey, I promise you I'm going to watch it.
I was glued to the TV for Olympic hockey. I watched all of it. I set the alarm on Sunday. I watched the gold medal. I watched the gold medal match at 1:10 or whatever it was for the women while I was in the middle of working. I was like typing and like looking over, at my other monitor, like I was glued. I will not watch a single NHL game. Like it doesn't do anything for me.
It's unfortunate.
I had no idea that the Hughes kid played for New Jersey until I saw the highlight of him talking last night. So unfortunately, will not, but go USA. All right. That's going to do it for us. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Apologize for the shorter show. We'll be back and better than ever tomorrow. So make sure you come check us out on Budweiser's Weekday Sportsbeat along with IrishBreakdown.com.